guys, welcome to my channel. This is my second video for this year 2023. And in today's video, I wanted to talk about the whole process of me moving here in Slovakia. From marrying a Slovak guy to visa processing and finally settling here. Hello, my name is Kim, and if you are new here in this channel, I talk about all my life experiences living here in this beautiful small country in the heart of Europe, Slovakia. I have been in Slovakia for almost 3 years now, and I can still remember as if it was just like yesterday when I first came here. Through the years, I have had a lot of people asking me how I moved here in Slovakia, how I processed my visa, and how did I marry a Slovak guy and actually moved here in this country. And normally, I will just, reply to your text messages, emails, explaining what was the process. But recently, I've noticed that I am getting a lot of similar questions from you guys about the whole process of me moving here in Slovakia. So I finally wanted to make a video about it. I don't know why, but maybe more and more Slovak men are traveling outside Slovakia and finding their loved one, maybe especially in Asia. Anyways, I thought I'd make this video to share my experience from the very start to where I am now, hoping that all the information that I'm going to share in this video will somehow help those people who are in a similar situation like me. But a small reminder for everybody that I moved here in Slovakia 3 years ago, and my husband and I are married like 5 years already. So please check all the updated information to all the relevant government agencies that I'm going to mention in this video. So many things have happened in the past 2 years, especially the pandemic. So a lot of things have changed, especially in the travel rules and restrictions. So please do your research more, but let this video be a starting point for you. I'm from Philippines, if you guys know that already, and my husband is from Slovakia. But we got married in Hong Kong. Why? Because it's cheap and super easy. Getting married in the Philippines takes a long time of processing back and forth from different government offices to get your permits and all those papers. And back then, when we decided to finally get married, my husband was working in Australia. So we didn't have really the liberty of time to go all those processes of registering and applying for marriage registration in the Philippines. While getting married in Slovakia means that me and my family would have to travel in Slovakia and translate all my documents because everything that is not in Slovak language needs to be translated officially in Slovak language. So that option was also not in the picture for us because it's so much expensive and tiring for everybody. Fortunately, I found out that in Hong Kong, there's a lot of foreigners, especially mixed couples, that are getting married, and it's super easy. The process was super simple that we didn't even have to be there in person to file our request to get married. So for, some reason you get inspired and decide to get married in Hong Kong and follow our path, this is what we did. First thing is that I needed to give a notice of intention to the government of Hong Kong or the registry of marriage that we intend to get married. It doesn't matter who would actually give the intention. It's either me or my husband. Just one person is necessary. There are forms that you need to fill out and they can be downloaded in the government site, and I will be leaving the link in the description below so you can check it out for yourself later. Of course, there are other supporting documents that we needed to submit, like for example, our birth certificates. And once I have completed all my documents, I just mailed it to my friend who at that time was living in Hong Kong. Once she got my documents, she just went to the marriage registration office and submitted them and paid the fees. Of course, if you don't know anybody from Hong Kong, there are other ways that you can do this. It's either you go there by yourself and submit all your documents, or you hire a civil celebrant. They're called civil celebrant. They're Hong Kong citizens who are licensed to get you married in Hong Kong. One reminder that I would like to share with you guys is really be careful with the timing of your wedding date and your application date. Your application date should not be earlier than 3 months or later than 15 days. So for example, you plan to have your wedding date on June 1, please make sure that you only apply after March 1. Because if you fail to get married within that 3 months period, then you have to start the process all over again. Once you've lodged your application, you will get an email notification from the government of Hong Kong that your application was successfully received and that they will give you the next steps what you need to do. The next step would now include an online appointment of your chosen wedding date. And again, this is done through online in their website, so it's so easy. Of course, there are fees that you need to pay. I don't exactly remember how much we paid, but I checked the website of the government office and it's now around 305 Hong Kong dollars or around 35 or 36 euros. And in my opinion, it's totally cheap. Once all of this are done, we just have to wait for our wedding date. Just a reminder that you need to be in Hong Kong already 3 to 4 days before your wedding date, because you and your partner needs to make an appearance in the Hong Kong office of registry of marriage, and you need to make a promise or oath like this in front of an officer. I don't exactly remember what we said because I think it was in Chinese language or maybe there's a translation in English, but I don't remember what we said. On our wedding day, we just need to make an appearance to the office where we are going to hold our wedding ceremony. But we have to queue up because there are other couples who are getting married as well before us that time. So you can imagine that there's a few couples waiting the same as us. But everything is so efficient and everything is on time. When it was our turn already, they ushered us to the hall or where we are going to actually have the ceremony, and it lasted just, I don't know, maybe 5 to 10 minutes, the whole wedding ceremony, and it's done. We exchange our sworn statements, we exchange our rings, we kissed, and then we signed the paper, and then that's it, we are married. And then the following day, we just have to come back to the office to get the original copies of our marriage certificate. Then our next step was to report our marriage to our respective embassy so that it will be actually legal in our country. So for myself, I reported it to the Philippine embassy, which is fortunately there is in Hong Kong already, and for my husband, he just needs to send the copy to the embassy in Australia, I think. Embassy of Slovakia in Australia. Now, one thing to remember is that whenever you are reporting your marriage to the embassy, it is very important that your marriage certificate is apostilled first. But don't worry because there is an office in Hong Kong already who can do this for you, and it's super easy and cheap. And that's it. Once we finish all the paperwork, we enjoy the rest of our stay in Hong Kong as a newly couple, exploring the rest of the city. And then we just have to wait for our embassy to process and actually recognize our marriage. For Philippines, it took about around 6 months till I was able to request a copy of PSA marriage certificate. But for Slovakia, I think for my husband, it was just really quick. Again, I will leave the link of the Hong Kong government website that you will only need to get all this information about getting married in Hong Kong in the description below, so you can check it out later. Now, what I think is very important to mention in this video is that for our case, when I moved to Slovakia, we were already married for 2 years. I mentioned this because for some of the people who reach out to me for advice, their situation is that they wanted to get married here in Slovakia, which is a different case for us. So you might need to research about those things that are necessary if you want to get married here in Slovakia. But it's not impossible. If you really want to do that path of getting married here in Slovakia, you can do it because I already know couples who did that way and they didn't have any problem. And now some of them are already here in Slovakia living. So what did I do to come here in Slovakia? First, I needed to apply for a visa, of course. But I only applied for a tourist visa. Because back then I was in the Philippines and my husband was already in Slovakia. He came here before me so that he can research and ask the government offices here what are needed for me to be able to come here and prepare all the documents that I will be needing as well. Now, there is no Slovak embassy in the Philippines. The nearest embassy of Slovakia in in Philippines would be in Jakarta, Indonesia. Fortunately, there's a Czech Republic embassy in the Philippines and they have an agreement that for all the Philippine passport holders, they can apply for a Schengen tourist visa through the Czech embassy for Slovakia. But take note that the Czech Republic Embassy in the Philippines only process the short-term visas like the tourist visa, and it's only valid for 3 months. If you would need to apply for a longer visa, for example, employment visa, then you have to go and apply in Jakarta, Indonesia, because in Czech Embassy, they do not process long-term visa for Slovakia. But before coming here in Slovakia, as I mentioned, my husband and I already did all the research so that we would know what is the process if we want to convert my tourist visa to a permanent visa by means of marriage. I prepared all my documents that are coming from Philippines. For example, our marriage certificate, I needed a police clearance and it has to be valid for 6 months while I'm still in Slovakia and going to apply for the permanent residency. And then I also needed a CFO certificate. And I did 3 copies of all of these documents. And I went to DFA, our Foreign Affairs Consular, to have all these documents apostilled. Just a quick reminder that for Filipinos, there is no red ribbon anymore. It is now apostilled because it's widely recognized around the European Union and other countries as well. The moment I arrive in Slovakia, we immediately meet up with a translator to have all my documents be translated in Slovak because they were in English. And this is very important. Once I have all my documents translated, then we went to a notary to have them notarized. Meanwhile, while all of these things are happening, we were also at the same time trying to book an online appointment with the foreign police office. And back then, it was a bit of a hassle because the system was really new and it's breaking every time and it was so difficult to get a slot. But I hope that now, after 3 years, the system is a lot better. Now, on the day of our appointment, I got all my documents ready. We went to the foreign police office. We were in front of the gate at around 5 a.m. in the morning, and there were a lot of people already queuing up. I think the gate were supposed to open around 7 or 8 in the morning, and our appointment was 9, but we just got called at around 1:30 in the afternoon. I don't understand really why, but that was the case for us. When it was finally our turn, we got a little bit of a heart attack moment because the attending officer back then told us that bridging my tourist visa to a permanent visa by means of marriage is not possible. Fortunately, my husband confirmed that there was an agreement between the Czech Republic Embassy and the Slovak government that this was possible, so I was able to process my application. But please have this checked for any updates because it might have changed recently, or I don't know if this is still the case. So after that, they checked all my documents, accepted my application, and there was a small interview. but I don't exactly remember what was the questions they asked me, but I know that it was really short. And then after that, they took my photos and then my biometrics, and then they told us what's gonna be the next step, when we can expect the result, and what are we gonna do after if I get approved. Now, the most difficult part is the waiting, because the foreign police has 90 days to give out their decision whether you are approved or not with your application. And my tourist visa that time was also valid for only 90 days. I was praying so hard that time that my visa application will be approved before my tourist visa expires, because if I do not get the result or the approval, I would have to get out of Slovakia and come back again with my permanent visa already, because there is no way that I can extend my Schengen tourist visa. I really have to exit Slovakia before my 90 days tourist visa ends. That is why it's really important for me that I have all my documents completed even before I came here in Slovakia. I knew what's going to be the process and what I needed to do first the moment I arrived in Slovakia. We literally did not waste our time and tried to book my online appointment with the foreign police as soon as possible, because then we have a better chance to have the approval of my permanent visa application before my tourist visa expires. Luckily, I think it was just about a week before my tourist visa expired that they called us and said that I am already approved and I have a permanent visa. Now, the next step would be to get an health insurance. And you have to do this within 30 days of your visa approval. I would say that it wasn't really that difficult. All you have to do is go to the health insurance company of your choice and show the paper from the foreign police and then pay the fees, and then you have your health insurance, and then they will actually deliver via mail your health insurance card. As for my permanent resident ID, you have the option to have it delivered by mail or you can pick it up by yourself. But for us, we picked it up in the foreign police office. And that's it. I got approved and I have a permanent residence visa here in Slovakia that allows me to work here as well. And then after 4 years of staying here, I can actually apply for unlimited permanent visa. And if I want, I can also apply for citizenship. As far as I know, now Slovakia offers a dual citizenship, so I can keep my Philippine passport and at the same time have a Slovak passport, but it's still a long, long way for me. Anyways, that is all from me. I hope that all the information that I shared here are clear, but if you have any questions or doubts or any need clarification that I might be able to help, just leave a comment below and I will try to answer them. And if you're a foreigner as well who recently moved here in Slovakia, share your experience with us in the comment section below so other foreigners can benefit from them as well. And if you want to know what it's like dating a Slovak guy, I have a separate video for that, and I will leave the link in the description below, or maybe here I can show the link and you can watch that after this video. And before I end this video, I just want to quickly tell you guys that since Valentine's is coming, it's really near, you can pre-order my bouquet of abaca roses in my online shop. I will leave the link in the description below so you can check it. They are absolutely gorgeous. They came from Philippines, these abaca roses, and I created them by myself. And some of the flowers that I used there are planted and dried by me as well. So if you want to support that, click the link in the description below and visit my online store. So that's it, everyone. I hope that you like this video. I hope that it is helpful for you. If it is, please don't forget to give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and if you want to help me more, you can be a member. Just click the join button below. Thank you, and I will see you again next time. Ciao!